Welcome to this video with me, Duncan Williamson. Between the Sheets, Excellence since 2000. This video concerns Edward Lear, very famous author, as it turns out, very famous artist, illustrator, and literary giant. He was born in 1812 and he died in 1888. He suffered his entire life from epilepsy and a few other things. My concern here is that I came across via ChatGPT elements of his life, and I thought I would spend some time looking at it, and this is what I did. There's a relatively long video that I've created already, Edward Lear. It's in this channel, it's under the heading of Edward Lear. Go and take a look at it, and it fills in all of the background. In this video, Edward Lear short, I'm purely concerned with the table you see here, the table and graphics visualizations you see here, and what's on the second worksheet, as you can see here. That's what I'm concerned with. Not all of it in great detail. You can download this file as you wish and work your way through. Here's a couple of things. So he was born in 1812, Edward Lear. He was here. These are all the children, 17 of them, of these two people, Jeremiah and Anne Clark Lear. Father was born in 1757, Edward in 1812, as you can see, and he was the 16th of 17 children. The first thing to do with Excel is the date of birth. These are 18th and 19th century dates. Excel can't cope with them, so what I did was I presented them in this way, and then I converted these dates from date style, which you recognize, I'm sure, all the way to date of birth as a decimal, which I did this way. I took out the year, the birth year, the birth month, and the birthday, and with a tiny bit of arithmetic, and it really is tiny, I did that. I use the if-error function, might be appropriate, good habit to get into. C8, which is this one, the year plus D8, the month, birth month divided by 12, plus the birthday divided by 365. That will give you the date of birth decimal. I didn't do 365.25. I didn't do any leap year calculations at all. So you might find these are slightly inaccurate if you find someone who has tried to build in the leap year. So that's the first stage complete. We've now got date of birth as decimals. I use them to calculate the age of the father at the birth of this child, the age of the father and also the mother for this child, then this child. So whenever there was a baby born, how old was Jeremiah the father and Anne Clark the mother? Thirdly, I calculated what I've called the gap, which is the gap in time between the birth of the first child and the next child. And that calculation comes this way. It's simply F9, the date of birth of Sarah Lear number 1, minus the date of birth of Anne Lear, the previous child. And it's 1.32, 1.3, 1.31 years. What's this got to do with it? Sarah Lear 1, 2 and 3. So you can see this. Date of death, same problem in that style. Death year, death month, death date, DOD, date of death, decimal. And then we get to a large gap, relatively large gap there, and quite large gap there and there. And I suggest in the main video that maybe there are children in that range that were stillborn or not recorded for some reason. But remember, it's not a perfect world in those days. They didn't necessarily absolutely record everyone who was born. Then here, I thought a Gantt chart would be a good way to represent the family, and you create them in this way. If I click on here, here I put this table together using the CHOOSECOLS function, a data analysis worksheet, A5 to P24, A5 to all the way over here, P24, age at death. So all of that information is in one table there. So I took it all. Well, I say took it all. I put it all inside CHOOSECOLS. Then I only took columns 1, 6, 16, and 15. Notice I put them out of order. I put 16 ahead of 15. That's how I put that table together. CHOOSECOLS is a new function, really handy. It does that really very well. Then you don't have to copy and paste and delete this and delete that and all of that. I identified the children as female and male. I did a calculation down here based on that. And then you create your Gantt chart very simply from there. If you set out your table that way, it's this stacked bar chart, create that. And then to make it look like this, you'll see here, there is a bar representing the date of birth, the decimals, and there are bars over on the right hand side represent the date of death, decimals, and you simply right click and format them with no color, no line in both cases, so they disappear, and you're left with this one, which is the age at death, in other words, their age, their lifespan, and that's it. You've got a Gantt chart. I colored Edward a beautiful pea green. That's a reference to one of his poems, one of his famous poems, Beautiful Pea Green Boat. And then the rest are left alone. And here the poor little mice that died, very young. But then all the rest, as you can see there. All right, there's the year, the name, and their age. One thing I haven't done, you might use the GROUPBY function for this. You might want to group by male and female here. Should we try that? Let's just pop it down here. I'll do it down here. Equals GROUPBY. If you have Excel 365 and you have it, the row fields, the row fields. This one, comma, and then the values function. What should we do? Sorry, I should include the column header. Let's make sure I'm doing that. So C5 should be 5, comma. Function is, what do we do? Average. Comma 3 is the headers, column headers. Let's see what we get out of that. There we are. So I've now highlighted female, male, parent, age of death, 37, 50, father, nearly 76, parents, I should say, average of 76. They're very close in age when they died. They really were very close in age. And there you are. That's grouped by. You might group by something else. Think of something else. Or you could pivot by, which would be another table that you could create. Okay, well that's it. Edward Lear, family, from birth to death, me, Duncan Nielsen, between the sheets, excellence since 2000. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.